I'm going to play two and put in where I'm from originally. There we go.
All right. I wondered where the accent was.
I don't have an accent.
Doesn't quite sound Canadian.
No, I'm from Scotland.
Yeah. Do you throw an A in there once in a while just so they can kind of fit in with the Canadians or?
No, though their accent I find is a lot of their colloquialisms stem from Scotland because we say
Okay.
I, they say a.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
You're the purist.
Yeah, the original Mark One.
Yeah. That's awesome. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and officially kick this off. Welcome everybody to our webinar this afternoon. Those that are listening here live, we welcome you. Be interactive in the chat and let us know if you haven't already where you're from. We're grateful to have Amy Hay here with us and want to make you aware that next week we have a pretty awesome event. I'll share the landing page for that at the end, but and the link I'll put in the chat. This will be the fourth one this quarter. We've got speakers from within the regenerative agriculture industry, and we know that profitability is always a concern. Maybe not so much right now, right? For the first time ever, we're looking at tax mitigation strategies. And I'm sure if you're in the livestock industry, you might be looking at that also. If you're a traditional row crop farmer, you might be looking at some pretty serious strategies of what you need to do, especially if you're leveraged. So no matter where you're at, whether you're profitable already or you're struggling to be profitable, this summit's for you. We invite you to sign up. It's free. And what we're going to be talking about here today will really tie into that as well. We get tons of questions about how to begin direct marketing. What are the steps? Is it right for me? And my wife and I live here in northeastern Nevada. We have a direct marketing company. We have a larger scale ranch. We ranch here in the Great Basin, so it's high desert. And having run a direct marketing company jointly with my wife for the last nearly 10 years, we know the struggles, and it's neat to see that there are people now like Amy who have some things figured out that we can learn from. And she has systems in place that you can plug into. So Amy, we welcome you. Thank you for being willing to jump on here.
Yeah, thank you. Can I share my screen? Do I have a? I do. Okay.
You do, yeah. Yep. While you do that, I'm going to share the link to be able to register for the event next week if you haven't already.
So does that, am I sharing? You can see that.
Yep.
Awesome. So it's kind of a unique feeling, presenting to a community that's not my own. Like I've done some talks in the States and in Alberta, Canada, but this is the first time I think I've actually been in someone else's community that they've grown and nurtured. So I do appreciate it and thank you.
You bet. It's a pleasure.
Um, so this normally my workshops, this is one I do every month. I've tailored it a little bit for tonight. They normally take around about 40 minutes. And then I am open to questions about anything and everything at the end. There is no such thing as a bad question. I will answer anything. So I normally just like to kind of say that grab a pencil and a pen. Be prepared to take notes, so I'm sure you'll get a replay after. Just some ground rules, and I'm sure it's the same for Jared, but just make sure you're on mute. And we'll have a lot as long at the end to answer any questions. You can write your question in the chat when it pops into your brain, and I'll go through them after. Or you can unmute yourself at the end and let me hear you, and we can have a chat. So, awesome. I will get started. So this is, as I just said, this is a free workshop that I do, and it's I call it five steps to 10K because that first 10K is the hardest. It's not that that's all people are going to make, but there's strategies out there that say the first 10K that you make is the hardest one you will ever make. But once you've got there, you just have to repeat what works and scale. So that is kind of what I'm going to show you. This is the exact method that I use for my own ranch. We are Waikiki Ranch. We process and sell direct to consumer 20 head every single month, and we're sold out 4 or 5 months in advance. And this is what I teach to my farmers, and this is how they find customers. And we know that customers make sales. Um, and then at the very end of the free training, I will kind of give you a warning when that happens. There is an opportunity to kind of see what it looks like to work with me or what my program looks like. And if people are open to that, then I can give you a quick glance inside the door. So yeah, so this is a free workshop. The struggle that so many people I hear are you're all producing amazing meat, but you're struggling to get buyers, or you have buyers, but they don't want to pay the price that you need or that you deserve for your product. So I will walk you through the critical steps that you should be taking to find those customers. And the solution is pretty simple. And I will go through every single step. It's build your platform, and I will go through what that is. It's identify who your customer is, target your customer, and then direct that traffic to your platform. And don't worry if this doesn't make sense. In about 20 minutes, it will make perfect sense, and you'll be raring to go. Does that sound good? So if you're ready and you're literally waiting to kind of find out what is going to happen, write ready in the chat. So I know you're all ready, and we will get going. Um, So part one of this is my story. I'll try not to bore you, but my story is why I started this. So it's how I saved our ranch from foreclosure with these exact methods. Part two is the most important 5 steps you need to sell your beef direct to consumer. Part three is customers. So many people come to me. I do polls to my audience, and the two things people say is, how do I get sales, how do I get customers? And they're kind of the same, but they're that last piece of the puzzle. There's like all these things you have to do first. You can't just decide to sell and find a customer. You have to tick all those boxes. I'm going to show you what those boxes are. Part four, next steps. I have a special Ag Steward offer, where to go from here and what I can offer you to get to the next level. So that will be at the end. And then a live question and answer session, and literally ask me anything. I've had people ask me about what fencing we use, what reels we use, what cover crops we plant. So anything goes, as well as how do I build a website? How do I market my beef? So I'm open to everything. So in this workshop, you will learn the steps you need to have a successful sales platform and customer getting machine. Why you aren't finding customers and making sales. These are the mistakes that we all make. I made them at the start. I slogged through them so you don't have to, but we all make them. Three, how to target them so they know what you have to offer. Number four, how to get them to your website or online store to make a sale. And then five, how you can work with me. So this is as easy as 1, 2, 3. You are in the right place if you have tried to sell direct already, but people either find your beef too expensive, or you have to make it so cheap that you don't make any money. You are trying to or are currently selling direct, but you are struggling to find customers or customers who will pay your prices. This is a common one. And you deserve to get the maximum for your beef, and I will show you how, or lamb, or pork, or chicken, or bison. Um, you are sending out emails, but no one is buying or interacting, and you can't understand why. And you want to start selling direct to consumer, but you have no idea how to get started. So there are more. If that isn't you on there, but you're still struggling, then I'm sure we will cover it. But those are the four main ones that I hear a lot. Um, and I just wanted to say I'm so proud of you that taking that first step is the hardest. It always is. And once you take it, everything else kind of falls into place. And recognizing that we need help, and getting help is amazing. So I'm really glad you're here. I'm really glad that you're keen to learn, and I will try and teach you as much as I can in the next 45 minutes. And we are going to help you get those sales. So hi, I'm Amy. I saved our ranch from foreclosure, selling direct, and now I've made it my mission to help all farmers. And I will go into that story just in a little bit. Um, so these are just a couple of testimonials. Maggie was pretty famous on social media a couple of years ago. She's 82. I mean, can you believe that she's 82? She's 84 now. She was going to lose her ranch. I heard her on Anthony Chaffee's podcast. I reached out to Anthony Chaffee, not thinking he would do anything about it, but I said I can help her. She was being interviewed because she's lived on this ranch her whole life. They were going to lose it. There was just no money in seed stock anymore. And I reached out to her and said, I can help you. And together we built their website, we built their platform. They plugged into my program. And this is what she said. Wow, we would certainly recommend this course. It's a complete game changer. Amy's marketing course got us up and running in literally a few days. Where else can you get that kind of result? Amy is a wealth of practical knowledge, sharing what works and what doesn't. That alone saves thousands in resources spent on trial and error. Results after just 1 week. So 1 week after they finished the program, they sold 4 quarters, totaling $8,175, 15 pounds of jerky, 375. So within a week, they almost hit that 10K mark, and now they're just doing amazing. Sold out of stock. Amy's method works. Bless you. Your system works very well. We thank God for you. And her husband she doesn't even own a TV. And Mac's laptop was this old, I don't know how old IBM that I swear you could hear it kind of processing everything, yet it worked. And they're doing amazing. Um, these are just a couple of other people inside the program. Karen, I thought I had it all figured out until I took the Empowering Farmers course. It's packed with everything no one's telling you about selling direct to consumer. If you're feeling stuck, frustrated, or unsure if you really need to be online, this is the course. The only thing I regret is not joining sooner. It's opened huge opportunities for our family, and I'm so grateful to have Amy in my corner. She truly gets it because we almost lost our ranch. Chad is in Canada. Karen is in New Mexico. Sell Beef Direct goes above and beyond to help you get started. I made an error which created issues with my Meta business account, and I could not find a solution. I reached out to Sell Beef Direct, and although Amy had not seen this issue before, she used her knowledge and connections and was able to sort out the issue for me. I can't thank her enough. So this is inside the community as well, that as I said, any question goes. We will do everything in our power to help you. Just a couple of more testimonials. I appreciate all that you've done for me. I have nothing but positive things to say. Thank you, Amy. Wouldn't be doing what we're doing without you. We're processing 17 head in August. Sales just keep on improving. Travis Browsey Acres. And they're all doing really well. So this is just a little bit of my story. At the start of this call, we established I'm from Scotland. My accent is maybe diluting now because I've been here for 16 years. My husband, I have zero farming experience, or I hadn't. I have now. We are first generation ranchers. My husband has more farming experience than I do. He is from New Zealand. His grandfather ran a sheep station and he would help out every chance he got. We are both from the maritime and yachting industry. I'm from Scotland, he's from New Zealand, and we chose Canada because it is halfway between both. Scott was chief engineer on privately owned yachts when we met, and I was designing and installing the satellite communications equipment on the yacht that he worked on. I am an engineer and I have a master's in business. And that yacht in the bottom right, my husband, he built that. So this was after he came ashore, but that boat is called Muchas Mas. And if you're in Florida, you'll probably see it floating around Fort Lauderdale. So I saved our ranch from foreclosure by selling beef direct to consumer with a laptop and a cell phone. I'm going to try and not speak too fast, but go through this in the Cliff Notes version. This is our story. So in March of 2018, we moved from the coast of British Columbia, we live near Canada, to 520-acre ranch, 5 hours inland. We moved here with 13 head of cattle. We worked remotely until the end of 2018 while we built our herd. And in December of 2018, we both resigned from our jobs, and selling beef direct was the sole source of income. And we were still carrying two mortgages. To buy this ranch where I'm sat right now, we released equity in our 6 acres where we started. We wrote a business plan that solely revolved around selling beef direct to consumer, and they loved it. And fast forward, the property market took a massive dive, and we ended up losing money on our 6 acres that we'd release equity in to buy this ranch. And our ranch wasn't enough equity to cover the debt. The bank became very nervous and started to foreclose. We gave up everything for this. We had 3 young kids, 9, 7, and 4. Selling direct had to work. I pushed and I slaved and I started building an order book. I was taking deposits months in advance, and we had to increase our processing slots. But the bank, the financial institution, still wouldn't accept this as guaranteed income, and they continued to foreclose. It takes 12 months to foreclose a farm because you're part of the food circle. So it's not like a house, which I think takes 3 months. So we had 12 months, worst 12 months of my life. Eventually, I went over our local branch head and I went to their main office in Saskatchewan. And I presented my order book and order history, totaling a revenue at that time of $50,000 a month every single month for the last 5 months, and showing that we had orders for the next 5 months that people had paid deposits for. And this was enough for them to halt proceedings and then admit that they were in the wrong. And when I was struggling and I needed help, there was another player in this field, but they were way out of my price range. I needed help now, not 6 months from now, and I couldn't afford the thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars that they needed because the bank was foreclosing on us. So I had to make it work. So I did it alone. Selling direct to consumer saved our ranch. Um, and this is a very simple uh, illustration of the 5 steps you need. So, the 5 steps that helped me save my ranch was social media, having a website, landing pages, email marketing, and an online store. 2, 3, and 5, I don't know if you can see my mouse, 2, 3, and 5, they may sound like the same thing, but they're not. And that's one of the main reasons why when some farmers who have spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on trainings and websites, they fail because those 3 things are very separate. But don't worry, I'm going to show you the difference between them, what they should look like, and then later on how to get them all set up to convert specifically for your products. Does that sound good? So I'm very visual, so that's the words. This is the diagram. So one is social media, Facebook and Instagram. You could throw in YouTube, TikTok in there, X. Number 2 is a website. Number 3 is a landing page. 4 is email marketing, and 5 is your online store. Social media is the first step. If you don't have social media, you need social media. And if you do have social media, you need to use it correctly. Regardless of if you're running paid ads or using organic traffic, social media is the most economical, fastest, and surefire method to find leads. This is where you find your customers. We will come back to social media. Step 2 is a website. Website and landing pages are not the same thing, and I will show you the difference in a couple more slides. Email marketing, this is where the actual selling happens. Industry or statistically across all e-commerce platforms, 48% of sales come from email marketing. So you need to get their email address. This is where the actual selling happens, and you cannot just use your personal Gmail account and hope for the best. It will not work. And finally, your online store. This is where your leads finally hand over their hard-earned cash and become a lifelong customer. Does that make sense? Are you still following? Uh-huh. So So you'll see that this one, there's no lines joining. This one, there's lines. So the dotted line is this is okay. Going from social media to your website to email marketing to your online store. But the best way is to use a landing page, and I will explain why. Um, so this next little bit, I'm just gonna have a drink of water before I start because my throat is scratchy. This next little bit a little bit dry, but it is worth it, I promise. So, in January 2019, I started our Facebook page, Waikika Ranch. But I did not start Instagram until probably towards the end of October 2020. So almost 2 years later. I fumbled, I followed a few how-to accounts, I started posting here and there, and kind of eventually worked out a method that worked with my posting and my content and didn't drive me crazy. And that's when things really started ramping up. Instagram has 3 times the reach of Facebook, but they're both meta and you should really use them both. Um, when things started ramping up, it was almost impossible to keep track. Orders would come from phone calls or emails or text messages or messenger. And then payments would come from e-transfer or checks or cash. Um, and then those names wouldn't match up with their Facebook names. One that sticks in my head, he was a policeman. His Facebook account was almost like a fake account, but that's who he ordered with. So when his check came, it came from someone who I had no idea who it was. And kind of trying to match them all up was a nightmare. Um, so I was going to have to find a solution or drive myself insane. So in 2020, um, I took the plunge and signed up for a Square account and started creating products and taking deposits in an online store. It took me days to create categories and items and pictures and descriptions, and then I had to link it to my website so that it looked seamless. That is because back then, Squarespace, who runs my website, did not have an e-commerce platform. They do now, and it's really good. And I build websites for my farmers using their internal. But at the time when I was starting this, Squarespace did not do e-commerce. So I signed up for Square, and that's what we still use. Um, and then and it does your email marketing. Squarespace did everything. So I had my email marketing and I had my website and my store was somewhere else, but I started dabbling with email marketing and my first email was awful. It was so bad. I went out to 116 people. I forgot to put in the links for them to buy something, so I had to resend it. I really had no idea what I was doing, but it started. It really did work. And I was terrified of that unsubscribe. So I would be sending an email once a month. Don't do that. You need to be sending 2 to 3 emails a week. Anyway, now I had a semi-working platform. I don't want to play it down as it really was hard work and it took me weeks and weeks and weeks. A couple of bottles of wine and probably my husband was too scared to come near me, but it worked. And that was really a rough and ready platform. So it did, the only thing it was missing was the landing page. Um, but it worked. So I'm going to tell you why those landing pages are super, super important. Um, so step 2 and 3 is your website and landing page. This is a basic rule of thumb. Keep your website simple. Your website is there for SEO. That means search engine optimization. It's to showcase who you are, but with minimal text, no big galleries. Keep it really, really simple. It's not for blogging. That is what social media is for. So don't bog down your websites with too much text, too much information. It shouldn't be a blog or like reading an essay. Keep it simple. We convert with a landing page. Convert means get that sale or get that email address. We all need websites, but you can have the best website in the world, but unless you can drive traffic to it, it is useless. So having a landing page and driving traffic to the landing page has a much higher conversion. Traffic equals customers equals sales. And if these terms mean nothing to you, mark it down and ask me at the end, and I'm happy to expand on anything. So landing pages. This is why we use landing pages. A landing page only has two outcomes. You exit the page or you do what that page wants you to do. There's no header, no footer, there's nothing else to click. They can't go and browse your page. There are only two things: exit the page or do the thing the page wants you to do. So if we look at the left-hand side, the white image, imagine you have a 4-year-old and you give said 4-year-old $20 and you tell them to go into a candy shop and buy whatever they want. Sounds amazing. They'll run in there happy and then they'll be shell shocked. They will look around, they'll see different colors, different shapes. They'll see chewy candy, suckers, chocolate, so much to choose from. They cannot choose and they'll probably throw a tantrum, come outside and be super, super frustrated. That is what happens when you send people to a website. They go to your about page, they go to your This Is Us, they go to your contacts, they go to the store. The store is full of so many things that they cannot decide what to do. And they say, I'll do it later. And later never comes. So the right-hand side, the black image, you are giving that same 4-year-old a specific instruction. You give them $20 and you say, go into that store and buy M&Ms. And they'll run in, they'll say, M&Ms, please, and come out as happy as a clam munching M&Ms. That is what a landing page does. It has one call to action, one thing they can do. They can either do the thing, which is either make that purchase or give you their email address, or they exit the page. And that is how we convert. That is how we drive the traffic and get those sales or get those email addresses. As I said earlier, I'm an engineer and I love numbers. I love numbers and statistics. So the no landing page, sending people to your store, has a 0.2 to 0.5% of doing the thing you want them to do. 0.2 to 0.5. Sending them to a landing page increases that to 60%. So a landing page has a 60% chance of doing the thing you want them to do. Look at those odds. So step 4, so we've done social media, website and landing page, and step 4 is email. And as I said before, you cannot just use Gmail. You just can't. And if you think of your platform as a journey, you need to take your customer from step 1 through this super easy, meandering, walking journey to becoming a customer. And each of these steps is a milestone on that journey. And we need to be able to track that data. So if you just send an email from Gmail or from Hotmail or from Verizon or something, you don't know who has received that email. You don't know who's opened that email. You don't know who's clicked on anything in that email. You don't know if you've been unsubscribed, if it's been bumped. You know nothing. You're just winging it. Data is power, and you need to be able to track what that customer does, where they came from, where they went, and if they dropped. So if you use an email marketing platform, you can see who read the email. And I think this one you can see, this is one of my farmers. They sent it to 573 recipients, 99% received it. So that's good. You know it hasn't been blocked by a spam filter. 46% clicked it or opened it and 6% clicked it. So if that open rate was 0, yet everyone received it, you know that they got the email, they just didn't open it. So what was your title like? Was it a really bad title? So it's not the email's fault, it's your heading's fault. So once we fix the heading and you see that 46% opened, but nobody clicked, then the content is bad. So just in that email journey, you can see I sent this many received it, this many opened it, this many clicked it. And if it's not the metrics you need, then you know what adjustments you have to make. Does that make sense? Knowledge, data is power. Knowledge is power. And then the last step in your platform is your store. And I think the example I have is my online store. So don't have all your products on one page. You want to split them into categories to make it easier for someone to come and browse. I see so many farmers, they have a page and it has every single item that they sell on one page. And it's too much. Like if I'm coming here and I want to buy a quart of beef, where is it? Like, is it at the top? Is it in the middle? Is it at the bottom? Do I have to hunt for it? The harder you make it for your customer, the less likely they are to purchase. So again, keep it simple. The simpler, the better. Um, and then these categories can also act as a mini landing page, if that makes sense. So if I'm doing an email and I'm wanting to target bulk, I'll click on bulk and paste the link for bulk into my email. Bulk has three things. So make sure you have categories. Um, and then this is just more categories. So we have special offers, bulks, quarters, sides, and whole, jerky, pepperoni, salami, biltong, sausages, burgers, blah, 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 blah. These are all the categories. And then inside each so this is my bulk category, pre-cut quarter, tenderloins in New York's, pre-cut quarter, T-bones, whole cow, a side of beef. We take a deposit. We don't charge in full. And with all the hundreds of farmers I've worked with, we have actually done studies and have data to say how big that deposit should be. If you're just starting out, if you've already built trust, if you've been going for a long time, there is a sweet spot of what that deposit should be. Too high and they get sticker shock and don't purchase, too low and they can back away. So we do have data that says what that deposit should be for your product. This is Mark Rosgen. This is just another one of my farmers. He is a very active rancher. And he sent me this as a text. And he was like, so Sell Beef Direct, I have my email and social media up and running, but not 100%. I put up a post this morning, went outside for a couple of hours and came back in to check and sold 3 beef quarters while I was out. So imagine going to a farmer's market and you're there all day. I don't think you would sell 3/4 worth of beef and you've been there all day. Mark sent a post or an email and sold 3/4 while he was doing his day job, which is being a rancher. So the platform should work regardless of whether you do. So once it's all set up, it just keeps on ticking over. All you have to do is send emails. Um, so this is the second piece so that first step was your platform, and we've just done those 5 pieces of your platform. So this is the next one that people ask me a lot about is how do I get customers? And I kind of think of it as these are the last 4 puzzle pieces of the massive jigsaw, and it's not going to be complete until these things are done. And that's how to identify your customer, how to target your customer, how to send them to where you want them to go, and then they become a customer. Then they make a purchase. This method really does work, and it is as simple as 1, 2, 3. So step 1, identification. Who is your customer? And I take a lot of calls and I speak to a lot of farmers. And when I ask them, who is your customer? They kind of go blank or they'll say something and it's like, well, but who are they? So if you don't know who you are talking to or who your customer is, how do you expect them to listen or to find you? So if you can't find them, how are they meant to find you? So you really need to identify who your customer is. I teach that there are 7 ideal customers, though recently we've kind of stumbled on an 8th. So inside the program, we say there's 7 ideal customers, and you need to talk to all of them. Don't just pick one. They are all your customer, and their commonality is they eat beef. But one of my farmers, they are quite religious and they do a lot of work with missions overseas. So for every every time they've sold a whole cow, whether that's with single items or bulk or packs, once a whole cow has gone, they ring a metaphorical bell on their social media and they buy a cow for a family in Africa. So they don't buy them beef, they buy them a cow. So that eighth ideal customer is they're targeting people who are conscious about others in need, who are maybe also from a mission lifestyle. So for her, it's perfect. I'm not saying everyone has to do that, but that's a very specific niche that she is now targeting, as well as all the seven ideal customers. Your customers range from a mom feeding her family the best she can on a budget to a 24-year-old carnivore who lives in the gym. And your content has to appeal to all of them. And when I say that, I don't mean one piece of content has to appeal to seven people. What I mean is that your social media, your organic ads, your paid ads, that one creative has to appeal to one customer, but all your creative should appeal to all the customers. Um, and if that doesn't make sense, I kind of, when I'm chatting to my farmers, I use myself as an example insofar as I'm a mother, I'm feeding a family. I have autoimmune disease, so I eat a predominantly carnivore diet of ruminant meat. I like to work out. I work out a lot. It gives me energy and it helps me forget that I have an autoimmune disease. So, depending which hat I have on when I see your post is what is going to appeal to me. So, if I am going through a flare up and I'm feeling pretty crummy, a post about working out won't appeal to me. But if it's a post about, do you have autoimmune? Did you know red meat can heal you? I would be like, whoa, really? Click. So you cannot exclude people. You have to appeal to them all. I don't believe in having a single avatar because then you're excluding so many people that are perfect customers. They're not drawn to that content at that time. So I teach that we have to appeal to seven ideal customers. Does that make sense? So, identification, which customer am I speaking to today? Is this the right message for them? Would this stop that customer from scrolling? Stop that scroll. It used to be the old elevator pitch that we had to kind of time ourselves to. I can't remember how long that was, a minute, 90 seconds. Now you've got three seconds because everyone is on their phone. They're waiting for the bus, they're scrolling. They're standing in line at Starbucks, they're scrolling. They're waiting for their kids in the school pickup. They're scrolling. So you have to be able to stop that scroll. And you can only do that if you know who those customers are and what speaks to them. And I will go into more of that in targeting. So step two, targeting. So we've identified who our customer is, so we know who they are, but how do we reach them? That's where targeting comes in. So once you've identified who they are, you have to target them with your ads. And when I say ads, I don't mean you have to pay for ads. You can, but you don't have to. An ad is anything that you put out there into that public forum. You take your ideal customer from step one and you talk to their pain points, you answer their questions, and the answer to either that inner monologue or something that is pressing on their mind, that answer is your beef or pork or lamb or chicken. For example, want more gains in the gym? Eat beef. Tired of feeling tired? I have the answer. So your answer to them is your product, but you have to find how your product fits with them. Um, if you've ever been in the marketing world, there are three blue oceans of marketing: wealth, health, relationships. So if you can hit one of those blue oceans, health, wealth, relationships, with your ideal customer, you are really getting like it's like you're inside their brain. And that is the best way to make a sale. It's like that's when they're like, she's speaking my language, or, I was just thinking about that, or this is what I've always been looking for. Does that make sense? Are you following? Um, So why targeting matters more than you think. I can't find customers really means I haven't targeted anyone. The customers are there. There are more, there are more people wanting to eat and to purchase farm to fork than there are farms providing it. The statistics that are readily available are from the States. So I think there's something like 2 million farms in the USA. And out of those 2 million, only 7% sell direct to consumer. 7%. So I have people that come to me saying, I feel like I've missed the boat. I'm going to be on the coattails. Everyone else is going to be successful and I won't be. And I'm like, no. There we will never run out of farms selling direct to consumer. There are more people wanting it than there are farms providing it. Um, there is a difference between identifying customers versus targeting them. We just identified them with the 7 ideal customers. Now we have to target them. So you have to speak their language. Posting generic content doesn't work. I will show you what I mean on the next slide. Targeting means showing up with the right message in the right place. And the algorithm helps you with this. That, we all joke Facebook is listening, and it kind of is, but it's also learns what you do. So, if my creatives are written correctly, and we do teach you how to do this, and somebody searches, I'll go with the autoimmune one, diet for autoimmune, then my ads might start showing up on their Facebook because my ads say, do you suffer from autoimmune? Does that make sense? Use the algorithm. It is there and it's free unless you're running ads, but then um we will help you get all the money back that you spend. So you make at least one ROAS, preferably 3 to 6. ROAS, return on ad spend. Targeting. So this is actually a post from one of my farmers. They don't do this anymore. But who are you targeting with the picture on the right? Who? It's a beautiful picture. There are lovely steaks. There's a lovely roast. There's lots of contrast and vibrancy with the green beans and the rosemary and the coriander, cilantro, you guys call it. um, but who are you targeting? What question is that answering? And the answer is no one. So this picture falls into that, has less than 0.2% chance of converting to a sale because you're not targeting anyone. Um, and I will give you some examples. So you may wonder why I have Gillette in a presentation about selling beef, and I will tell you. So, marketing is about the consumer and not the product. I'll repeat that and you can have a wee think. Marketing is about the consumer and not the product. So, I'll be showing my age because I don't think anyone has commercials on TV anymore, but do you remember Gillette commercials? So this is from a magazine, so it's slightly different. But the commercials that stick in my head, similar to this, it was a married man having a shave. Oh, you didn't even see the shave. You saw patting his cheek, and his wife gave him a kiss, and then you hear the Gillette, the best a man can get. You know that it's for shaving foam, shaving cream, razors, but they don't actually show them, or they're not the main focus of the commercial. But in that, however short length of time, you know that they're targeting a married dynamic and they're selling Gillette products. The other one that I remember is a young 20-year-old running down the stairs. He stops in the mirror at the bottom of the stairs. He grabs his coat, he slaps his cheeks like this, runs out the door where there's a truck of his friends waiting to go out on town on a Saturday night. Those two commercials are targeting two very different audiences. One, that young 20 something, that will not appeal or shouldn't appeal to that married man. It's the same product. So, do you understand? If the penny just dropped, type Gillette in the chat. I love it when I do this in my workshops at how many people go, oh my word, Gillette, Gillette, Gillette. So if you now understand what I mean by marketing is about the consumer and not the product, type Gillette. Uh, so step 3 is traffic. So we've identified who our customer is, that 1 to 7. Targeting is how to talk to them, that marketing is about the consumer and not the product. And now we have to send them somewhere. So traffic isn't driving on a highway. Traffic is you have found all these customers or potential customers. They're all gathered around your social media, your ads, your anything. And now you have to send them somewhere to convert them to either an email address or a sale. Step 2, traffic, driving traffic. What does this mean? How do you convert that lead into a customer? You have to drive them somewhere in order to convert the person from a viewer to a lead to a customer. Where are you sending it? Um, there are many ways to drive traffic. And we can use paid ads so that paid ads have the most scale. You'll hit more people, but it has very little social proof because they don't know who you are. They're stumbling on an ad. They've maybe been targeted because of what they've searched, and you've appeared on their feed because of your audience controls, but they don't know who you are yet. There's no trust, there's no social proof. Word of mouth has the highest form of social proof, but no scale. You have to wait for people to recommend your beef, for it to come up in conversation, for someone to say, oh, dude, I had the best burger ever last night. You have to buy it ground from this farm. And then they're like, oh, okay. Word of mouth, highest form of social proof, least amount of scale. Social media combines the two. So you get the reach of paid ads because it just takes one person to share one of your posts to their 800 friends, and you've just hit 800 people. But because they know the person who shared it, you get that social proof. So it's almost as good as word of mouth with the reach of ads. So this is why we use social media. And the first thing people do when they see an ad, they're going to look for your page or they're going to search for your website. So why is traffic important? You can control where you send leads and customers, and you can track the statistics. So you can know what's working and what isn't. Very much like those emails. You can see, who opened it, who clicked on things. You can see that it's working. It's the same with a landing page. You should be able to go into your platform and see, well, 100 people landed on this page, nobody clicked it, or 100 people landed on this page and 60 people clicked it. So you can see whether that page is converting or not. And remember that example of the 4-year-old going into the candy store? If you send traffic to just your website, you often cannot capture that lead as there is too much choice. This works on some occasions, like I would never say never do it, but the more specific you can be, the higher chance of getting a conversion, whether that's an email address or a sale. Where to send it. So we went over this. So if you are just starting out and growing your list, or you want to grow your list, maybe you've been doing this for a long time, but you're not making sales, send them to an email sign up. You cannot rely on a pop-up. People exit it, then a cookie is saved, and you never see that again for, I don't know, 28 days or 30 days. You cannot rely on a pop-up to capture email addresses. You also cannot rely on a sign up bar at the bottom of a website, like at the bottom of a page. You need a specific landing page to capture an email address. And there's nothing else to do on that page. There's no header, no footer, no other call to action. It's this is the thing I want you to do. Give me your email address. And we have studied thousands of these, and we know how to lay out your landing page in the best way to capture someone who wants to purchase your beef. So send them to a landing page.
What,
Um,
Amy, what do you find is the most effective lead magnet to be able to get them to give you that information?
I actually don't use lead magnets for my farmers that I know some of them do. Some of them I'll do like a recipe, or something about food labels, but they tie it in with that's what they're posting about on social media. So they're posting about what's wrong with food labeling, or they're posting about a recipe, and then it's, that call to action, comment recipe to get this recipe. But just for a landing page to get an email address, I actually don't give anything away because we've learned that those email addresses that sign up because your information is speaking to them, it's targeting them, they're better leads than people that are signing up because they got something for free. Does that make
That's
sense?
cool. It does. It does. That makes a lot of sense.
I'm not saying don't do lead magnets. I mean, you absolutely can. Like I have one on my own page. It's a guide to beef cuts and recipes, but it's $5. So that kind of counteracts the getting something for free. What's $5? But then those leads are really high quality leads.
Makes sense.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So we do like inside the course, we do kind of do two different landing pages and two different um lead capture. One is a giveaway and one is not. And it's interesting to actually see the strength or the quality of leads that come from each. You get a lot of volume from one, but the volume is basically quantity, not quality. Whereas the other one, you don't get as many, but they're really high quality. But we do both. Like I don't believe in one method fits all because you need to do it all to kind of grow that list. But you get to a certain level where you want quality over quantity.
Perfect. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for addressing that. That makes a lot of sense. And that really resonates because when we were running lead magnets, we were getting a lot of people that would sign up, but no sales.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
but just exactly what you said. And I think you nailed it, right? They wanted something free,
Yeah.
but they weren't buyers.
No. I find that my brain does things, it works in a very different way, and I see things very different. So if everyone else is going left, I'll go right. But I think it works that, like, yes, we need a landing page and we need to get that email address, but I'm going to do it in a different way. And yes, we need ideal customers, but I don't want you to pick one. I want you to pick seven or eight or nine and talk to all of them that yeah, I just kind of do things a little differently. But I hope it makes sense. I hope it makes sense. Um, okay, so oh, there we go. So this is all about the driving traffic. So these are actual farmers of mine. So this is one account. This is one farmer. She came to me at the end of 2024. So we took her over, I think, November, December 2024. So this is her actual Squarespace statistics for all of 2024. She had no plan. She wasn't driving traffic. She wasn't utilizing emails and social media correctly. And she got just shy of 2,000 hits on her website in a whole year, which isn't very good. After plugging into our program, so she signed up with us in December. In So from the 1st of January to the 2nd of April, so 3 months, she increased her traffic by 1,527%, and that did translate into sales. So just by dialing in that who is my ideal customer? How do I speak to them? Where do I send them? And we did help her create two landing pages, one for a giveaway, one just for an email address, so that we would have the scale and the quality. And it did translate into sales. This is another one of my farmers. They came on board this spring. Um, they're doing amazing. My husband and I have been ranching part-time for the last 10 years. We had come to realize we were missing a big market that lots of people were buying from out of town, and a lot of locals didn't even know we were here. We did not know how to move forward and how to put ourselves out there in the most efficient way. We fell into Amy's ads for empowering farmers, and that changed everything. They built us a beautiful website, and we started watching and listening to all the steps in the modules. Within 2 months, our monthly sales tripled, and our email list is over 2,000. This was a few months ago, and because I built their website, we don't have to build your websites. A lot of you have websites. We just help you use them correctly. But if you're starting out and you have nothing, then we can build your website. Um, because I built their website, I get all their alerts. And I swear I get 3 or 4 alerts a day. Sale, Bryan Family Farm. Sale, Bryan Family Farm. Sale, Bryan Family Farm. And it feels amazing. And I know it feels amazing for them too. Um, I think this is Bryan Family Farm. So within a month, they had over 9,000 visitors, and they did 3,500 in revenue. But this is deposits. This isn't total revenue. I think they're just starting out. They were, I think, $100 for a quarter, 200 for a side, 400 for a whole. I think they have increased those deposits now that they've built trust, but that's kind of what I was saying, that there is a sweet spot for what those deposits should be. You don't want sticker shock, so people turn away. So that 3,500 or 3.4K translated in around about $15,000 in sales, which is pretty good, and they're doing amazing now. Um, how to get customers. So this is just a summary of what we were speaking about. Target your audience, drive that traffic, and then you can convert that lead, that looky-loo, into a customer. They need to stay on that journey, that customer path, so that they can meet you, say hello, walk along the path, and then convert into a sale at the end. And I hope that does make sense. Who are you targeting? If you don't know who you are targeting, how can you expect to reach them with social media or even ads? So it takes us back to that. Identify who your customer is and then talk to them. Otherwise, they're not going to be able to find you. Just a picture of beef, you're not targeting anyone, and no one is going to buy it. So then you get customers. Yay! Identification, targeting, traffic, customers, and customers make money. Just a couple more testimonials. I've never had so many people visit our website, and this definitely transferred into sales. They had 1,000% year on year. I have been working with other programs and never saw results. After working with Amy, our sales quadrupled in 1 month. I love that. Christy's on a Squarespace site. Sarah is on a Shopify site. They're both amazing platforms. They both do amazing things. This is Will Roanoke. I appreciate all you've done for me. I have nothing but positive things to say about you. These again are deposits. So I think this translated in around about $20,000 in sales. And they kept on going up and up. Identify that customer, drive that traffic, convert them to a sale, or convert them to an email, send them email. Remember, 46% of sales come from email. And both of those paths meet at the end in a customer. So that is the end of that free training. I really hope that helped and you kind of understand a little bit more about landing pages and websites and identifying that customer and how to get that platform running for you, and then how to use that to get a sale. If you just came for, and if that's all you want from me, and that's all you came is for the free training, that's amazing. Thank you so much, and I hope it was useful. I'm always happy to answer questions. And if you have a question afterwards, Willow will write this in the chat, but you can email us at hello@sellbeefdirect.com. And I'm really excited for you, as this is one heck of a journey. So if you do choose to stick around, then I am going to kind of give you a little look inside the curtain, so to speak. So option A is, I've got this, I'm going to try this on my own, and I'm so proud of you. Take all these tips and just take action. And if you hit a wall, email us hello@sellbeefdirect.com, and I pretty much answer all emails. If you want to see what it looks like behind the scenes, behind the curtain, you're ready to go all in, but you need a little bit of support, just comment BTS in the chat so I know that you are interested in having a look behind the scenes. And if you're ready to turn things around or make your first 10K or your next 10K or scale, then comment BTS and I will keep going. Okay, so
It's gonna autocorrect to it. So
oh
I think
BTS
that is a
behind
BTS.
the
Yes.
scenes. Maybe I
BTS,
should
yes,
say
whatever.
curtain.
We want to hear more. And yes, there's a couple questions in the chat. Is this being recorded? It is. It'll go up on our YouTube page. Generally, it comes out by Monday. So you can look for it there. It'll also go up on the podcast channel. So it looks like the majority says, let's go for it. Yeah, tell us what it looks like to work with
Um,
guys, Amy.
So, Empowering Farmers is like my flagship course. It has changed quite a bit since I started. When I first started way back in 2023, it was like 5 modules. It's now 10 and growing. I update the material twice a year. So, you know that when you join, it is the most current statistics, data, technologies, applications that there is. It's not just written years ago and growing stale. I do update it twice a year. It's lifetime access. You never have to pay anything again. You get access to all that new material. And these are the modules. So there's they're long form on the next slide, but it's basically 10 modules upgraded twice a year and lifetime access. So the modules are how to set up your social media for monetary gain, how to get the price you want and deserve. That one comes with an interactive spreadsheet. Page 1 is all about your operation, your overheads, your costs, anything that you pay to put towards the business that goes into your overheads and operating costs. And then the next page is, if you feed hay, if you feed grain, what weight gain do you need per day? Do you lease pasture? What are your processing costs? And you fill out all the gaps, and then it will give you a price per pound hanging weight, which you can then convert and translate into yield weight or cut weights or anything. But it gives you that basic price per pound hanging weight, including cutting, wrapping, and processing, to give you a sliding scale of gross margin. So you can choose, 20% gross margin or 25 or 30, 35. You can like see where you need to be to get the margins you need. And then that then converts into net because it takes everything from that first page. How to identify your ideal customer and how to reach them and ensure repeat business. That's kind of what we just went over, but in 2 hours, not 20 minutes. How to target your customer and drive traffic to your platform. How to sell out monthly and not be left with inventory. How to build your email lists. 46% of sales come from email. How to advertise on social media. That's paid and organic. How to use automations to sell, how to analyze the data and find what works in your platform, how to set up your online store and get your product to the customer. Because we work with so many farmers, and through those farmers, we work with thousands, like over 100,000 consumers. We do have studies and polls that tell us which pictures convert the best and how many pictures convert and what layout of your store gets the best conversion. Um, so when either if you're building it or we are, we can kind of guide you in what they should be. And spoiler, never, ever, 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 ever post a picture of frozen meat vacuum packed, ever. They do not convert. Take them off your store. Never, ever, ever post a picture of a steak vacuum packed, frozen and raw. They don't do well. Um, this is a little bit of what's inside Empowering Farmers. So this is just from my demo login. So every time you complete a module, you get a tick. All the modules expand. Inside each module, there are multiple lessons. Each lesson has a video, it has a timestamp. So if you want to go back, you can like see what you want to look for is where, a bit like the content of a book. It has a transcript, it has teaching notes, learning notes, and downloads for every single module. There are 10 modules and probably 30 lessons. We also have a Empowering Farmers community. It's on School. It is a school community. There are different rooms for everything. So there's a room for general, a room for wins, where Karen put this in a win. We made changes to her landing page during a coaching call, and by the end of the call, she made a sale just from the changes we made. So she put that in wins. Social medias, any questions about social media, landing pages, ad help, and then there are more. I think there's online store, email help, website help, etc. And then we have coaching calls and guest experts. Jared is coming into my group to do a talk on the regenerative ag side of things on Monday. So we have guest experts inside the group every single month, if not multiple times a month, and we have at least 2 calls a week. We always add to this calendar. And we have additional lessons inside as well. So if anyone is getting stuck, how to set up social media, there is a Loom video, how to build a landing page. So there is a Loom on what you need in a landing page. And I think I give 3 or 4 examples inside that Loom. So inside the community, there are additional lessons as well as the course itself. This is just some more testimonials. Wade is one of my farmers who we did build his website. He only really does subscriptions. So he's not a massive ranch. He doesn't have hundreds and hundreds of cattle. He has a pretty small amount. So instead of restricting himself to just doing 4 quarters or 8 quarters a month, because that's all he has, he only does subscriptions. So he has different subscriptions for different, like if you're a couple, if you're a family, if you're a big family. And in the description, it says, by the end of the year, you will have received, I think 3/4 of a cow, whole hog, 5 chickens or whatever, depending on which subscription you take. But it's guaranteed income. So as soon as someone signs up to the subscription, and he's getting 20 subscriptions a month, he knows that that is guaranteed income every single month. And because it's not a whole cow at once, when he gets more subscriptions, he can bring in more stock or expand or extend. So it gives him a lot of foresight. So I really love his business model. This is just, I think, one that we had earlier. Sarah Benson, she quadrupled her sales in 1 month, which was really, really cool. And then these are just things I've been on. I've been on rural radio, Sirius XM, Working Cows podcast, Farm for Profit, Ranching Reboot. Mark Sharkey of the Shark Farmer, he was hilarious, and the Regenaissance. So if you want to hear more about my background, my story, and what made me laugh with Mark Sharkey, then you can go and check those out. And then there's just a couple more testimonials. Brooklyn Reimer, she was one of my very first students, and this is when the course was like 5 weeks long. And it's changed so much since then, just because we're always learning. But even then, a week after finishing the course, she sold all of this 15 £250, $250 boxes, a quarter and a side, which in a week was awesome. Nikki, Nikki is Diamond H Ranch. These are both from Nikki. They were struggling, and we were like a last ditch resort, and they were kind of struggling a bit, but then they signed up with me in May, and then they had some orders trickling in, and then she said the floodgates just opened, that she sent the first one, this middle one, I think at the end of June, June 14th, I think, saying that they were starting to get some bulk orders. And then by the end of June, she sent me this. We are sold out August, 17 head, just because the floodgates opened. And this is all targeting, identifying the customer, targeting, making that sale. And then I have another one here. I call him Bob. I've been working with a client, and he He paid 18,000 for another beef marketing company and it didn't work. And then he paid 5,000 to have a funnel built, a funnel on Go High Level, but it didn't really link with his Shopify site. And then he had another company kind of try and fix it with some marketing. And at that point, he was $28,000 down and hadn't made anything. So then he started ads. He thought, I'm just going to purchase some ads. And I think he did 3,600 in ads to make 3,400 in sales. So again, another negative. So at this stage, he was down. I don't even know. My math isn't that great, but he was down $28,200, struggling. So he came to me, and I think it was the stage of I've spent this much. What do I have to spend to make it work? And we ended up increasing his sale. Remember, these are deposits. That's not monthly revenue. That is deposits. We increased it 455% that first month, and we kept on doing that every month until he was out of that hole. So he was no longer in the red. He was now in the black. So anything he made from that point on was money in his pocket. And that was a pretty big hole. So the fix is super simple. Having an online platform that converts and identifying your customer, targeting your customer, driving that traffic. Isn't that amazing? Don't you all want this? So this is a little bit more about Bob's numbers. This is over December to mid January. We increased his sales 704% over the previous year. And remember, these are deposits, not total revenue. They pay that when we invoice them when they receive their beef. So I did have a special offer. So my Empowering Farmers course, it is not $18,000. It is normally $3,500, and that's your lifetime access of all that material. It gets updated twice a year. You also get a year's coaching inside the coaching group, and it also comes with a guarantee. So we do guarantee that if you don't make $10,000 from launch in 6 months, then you get a full refund. My flagship course has saved other farms as well as my own farm, and it's helped increase farms' revenue by 400%. So a special Ag Steward offer. You have your own link. It's on the next slide, and Willow will also write it in the chat. But instead of $3,500 for all you people who are on the Ag Steward community, it is only 3,000. So for the next 4 days, so Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, it will be $3,000 on your very own link. There is the link. So sellbeefdirect.com/ag stewards. Willow will write that in the chat. So it is only $3,000 instead of 3,500. And if you don't make 10K, we will give you your money back. And I guess that is it. That was my last slide. So I'm open for questions. Questions can be about anything. Pick my brain. I'm going to have a drink of water first, though.
This is really good. And definitely an answer to prayers, because I get the question so often, like, okay, how do I get started? And I haven't cracked the code. We've been at it for a little bit longer than you have, Amy, and you've got a lot of things figured out that we never did get figured out. I believe it's possible. And so now we have a place that we can say, hey,
super possible.
The answer.
I don't know whether I dropped or you dropped, but I can't hear you anymore.
Our direct marketing company up and off the ground. So, questions, put them in the chat, you guys. Willow and I will ask those. And probably the question that I have heard from, we're not currently running ads to our direct consumer beef company. We are running them for Ag Steward. Some of you might be here because of an ad that you saw on Facebook. And we're getting good traction that way for our cost per registration is really low. I've heard from other producers that the algorithm is not favoring uh, the direct to consumer beef and meat sale ads. Have you seen that with your clients? Like the
So
cost has gone up a lot, and it's just what was working a couple years ago is not working in that space.
there is a couple of reasons for that. And you cannot sell live animals or animal products on Facebook. So you cannot go into Marketplace and post that you have a quart of beef. The bots shut you down. So the algorithm is a very clever learning algorithm, and it scans images and text. I follow a lady who did a test, and she sells, I think, jewelry. And she did some tests, sat in a golf buggy on a golf course with golf clubs, driving around while people were playing golf, and the ad started targeting golfers, even though her product was nothing to do with golf whatsoever, because the algorithm scans everything and tries to match things, but sometimes two and two don't make four inside its brain. So this is where that targeting comes in, and that's why you cannot post pictures of beef, because A, you're not targeting anyone, and B, the algorithm kind of frowns on that. But if you can hit those three blue oceans of marketing, health, wealth, relationship, and your ad creative is either very plain yet striking, and the messaging is more I did a campaign recently for one of my farmers who sells a herd share for goat's milk. You cannot sell raw dairy in his state. You get shut down, but you can sell a herd share. So the ad campaign that we were doing was, do you have eczema? Like the ad was a picture of someone with scratchy skin, and it was like, do you have eczema? Have you tried everything? Blah 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 blah, click here. And then they got the email chain for the herd share. He started selling loads and loads of herd shares because we were targeting a specific problem. We weren't saying buy my goat's milk, we were saying, do you have a problem? I can fix it. So yes, yes, it doesn't work like it used to, but it still works really, really well. You just have to adapt your creatives.
Thank you for that. Thank you. That's good. That's gold, you guys. Okay, Michael asked, do you ship and best methods? Because shipping is expensive from what I can tell.
Michael, I don't mind if you unmute or if you type in the text, but where are you?
Yeah, go ahead, and if you're able to unmute Michael, let's have a little bit of a conversation if you can. Alabama.
Alabama. So something that this like an exercise I do with some of my farmers is, what is your closest hub? I do not ship. I'm in Canada, so we cannot ship outside our province, a lot like your um state licensed or customs exempt processing facilities. You cannot ship them across state lines. You have to use USDA. But we don't ship. We deliver to a common drop-off location in our main urban hub. So we actually drive 6 hours east to Vancouver, but we take, 10,000 pounds of beef, and we go to one spot, everyone comes and picks up their beef, and we drive home again. So I guess we do ship it in a way, but we're not shipping. So I don't need dry ice, I don't need all the packaging, I don't need shipping like FedEx. And this is an exercise I do with my farmers, that if you have an urban hub near you, being in Alabama, my geography isn't that great. What's the capital of Alabama and how big is it? But if there's 500,000 people there and you're doing four head a month, that's 16 quarters to 500,000 people. You only have to appeal to 16 divided by 500,000. You only have to appeal to 0.032% of the population, which is tiny, and that's without even having to ship. You just have to appeal to someone's inner dialogue that your beef cures their issue, or your beef is the answer to something that they were thinking about, and that's without even having to ship. If you do ship, that little that little pricing sheet we do, you can see where your gross margin is and you can add in the shipping costs. So see how that affects the gross margin. And then you offer free shipping. It's not free, they're paying for it. They just don't realize that they're paying for it. And then you can target things like, I don't know, within 2 days from you, probably Dallas or north of you. I don't know what's north. My geography of the States is lacking. I'm from Scotland. But if you can target like a big urban hub, you might not have to ship. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, that is really good.
Perfect.
Okay. Looks like we answered it. Donnie, if you're able to unmute, we'd love to hear you get a little more context for your question. I run a small cow-calf operation. How and what do I need to get started? That is, there's a lot there. Donnie, give us a little more. Where are you, and what kind of scale? And have you done any deep direct-to-consumer sales?
In Oklahoma, no, I haven't started processing anything yet.
Okay.
And will
All
you
right.
do USDA or will you do state licensed?
I'll do USDA. I'm
Okay.
thinking just maybe selling to my friends and family first.
Um, mm, friends and family want mates rates. Like they want everything at a discount. So, I'm
That's
not sure friends and family is a great idea, because they don't want to pay the price that you need to sell it at. But just to get started, the first thing you need those, if I can scroll backwards. You need these. These are the things you need. You need social media, website landing pages, email marketing, and an online store because you need to be able to funnel people. And people are more likely to purchase something. It's called that impulse buy if they're doom scrolling, something appeals to them, and then click, they've purchased. I purchased two horses that way, much to my husband's horror.
I'm not quite there yet. I'm working on the processor,
Hmm.
all my state certificates and everything, got all those in order.
Yes.
My next deal, do I want to buy or do freezer storage here at the ranch, or do I want to buy a locker space to store meat before you sell it? So that's when
So we don't store anything. We pre-sell everything. So if you came to my ranch today, we just delivered last weekend. I have nothing here
yeah.
that we don't store anything.
And so that's another, you get to try to sell halves or quarters to people and take it to the process, let them pay that more. Or my idea I was thinking about is just selling ground beef. I can
Hmm.
sell you the best steak if you prepare it wrong, cut it wrong. First thing you say, oh, his meat is terrible, it's tough. It's hamburger up,
Yeah.
you know.
Um, so
And
if you're just gonna
often
sell ground and steaks, do bundles, do like a ground and steak bundle so they can't, so it's like £10 or £20 and they have to buy the whole lot. But even then, you would take pre-orders. So you know that I've just sold 20 of them. I have to process this many or something. But pre-ordering allows the deposits become your cash flow, and it takes that risk away. You're not left with freezer beef that if you had like even if you had 15 cows, 15 steers ready now to take to the processor, I would say don't. Start with 2, 3, book 3 months, get in with your processor, start pre-selling those first ones. And then once the momentum comes, then increase your slots, but don't process all of them at once because meat in your freezer is money that's not in your bank.
well, that's where I'm at the crossroads. Do I want to try to pre-sell quarters, halves, or whole cows,
Yeah.
or process some parts of it to sell to individuals? You know,
Yeah, for
a lot
sure.
not familiar with, and they go by a quarter, or half cow. They're shocked how much meat that is. Then they
Yeah.
get the process, and they don't have that much storage space. So then they got to run and buy a freezer. So
Yeah.
those are just some ideas I'm kind of kicking around and trying to think about the next step.
So our most popular item out of everything we sell is a quarter beef. So we sell more quarters than anything. And a quarter, um your marketing and your educating the customer helps them with this, but a quarter generally lasts a family of four for 3 months. So people think a quarter, we actually hear that it's not as much beef as they thought, so then they buy another one. But it is our most popular item, and our second most popular item is multi-packs of ground. We sell 10-pound bundles or 50-pound bundles, and we sell more of them. So that's our second most popular item.
Okay.
Great.
And then I looked at maybe trying to have another Vantage type product like beef sticks or something,
Yes, they are great. It's almost like I'm not sure this is going to be in poor taste, but beef sticks jerky is like that gateway drug. It's like that entry level that and it's great for marketing. I do emails for someone who had never sold their beef. They'd been struggling for a while, and they had beef sticks. So we did a whole email chain of "Are you hangry?" or "Do your kids crash?" and what's the best snack to keep in a mom's purse? And it was beef sticks. And we targeted all those ideal customers with do you crash after the gym? Have a beef stick. Do your toddlers throw a tantrum at 3 p.m.? Have a beef stick. Do you get hangry and shout at your wife? Have a beef stick. So all these emails were tailoring each of our ideal customers, but for beef sticks. And because they'd purchased beef sticks, it was so much easier for them to go, oh, I'm going to go and purchase a 20-pound bundle, and then oh, I'm going to go and purchase a quarter. So they're great. Beef sticks are great for customers as an entry level and as an upsell.
Mhm. Okay, well, answer two questions. I'm just trying to normally I market my calves at 600 pounds, so now I have some I'm retaining to get to the weight to who I want to butcher. So I'm still a few months out.
If you're 3 months out, I would start pre-selling.
Well, I'm a few more months out.
Yeah. Bring
Trying to
in
get some ready.
yeah. Awesome.
Good question, Donnie. Love it.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Yep, and thanks
One more
everybody.
question.
Yeah.
What do you try to
Hey,
sell yours taken to market at to
So
process for processing? What
how
weight
much?
try to get your cow at before you take them to processing?
Oh, so if you notice the pictures, I have quite an eclectic breed. I have Highlands and Galloways. So
Sorry.
my hanging weight is around about 700 pounds. So I guess my live weight to process is around about 1200. But if you're Angus or limousine, then your carcass weight is going to be bigger than mine. So I know some of my farmers do low line Angus or like bigger Angus builds, and they're getting 900-pound hanging weight. So yeah, it just depends. So
What's
I'm
mine?
also
Some
of the
Hereford.
sorry,
What's
Hereford.
mine? Angus and Hereford cross.
Oh, okay. So you might be about the same as us then, or maybe around about that 750-pound mark
Okay. All right.
hanging. Uh,
good. Very good. Good questions. Well, Amy, this has been great. I think we've covered a lot of ground. Again, Willow, if you want to put the link in the chat, that would be great. We'll also include that in the comments on the replay and in the description on the podcast. So you can jump on that, and you got 4 days to be able to do it. I love it that you reward action takers. So
mm,
this has been really good. Well, yeah, there's the link again, sellbeefdirect.com. For those that are listening on the podcast, sellbeefdirect.com/ag steward, and that'll get you the discount. So Amy, thank you for that. That's
okay. I'll
great.
leave it open until I think you said you were posting it Monday, so I'll leave it open until Monday evening.
Okay. Yep, that sounds really good. That sounds
Mhm.
great. So I'm going to
Perfect.
share here before we log off an invite to be able to jump on our webinar, or our summit, which is next week. Here's a lineup of speakers. We've been blessed to be able to get some of the best of the best, not necessarily in order of importance, but you got a fellow Canadian up there, Josh Kirpin. Do you know Josh, Amy?
I do not.
Hey, you better log in. He's cool. He's he does both. He's farms and raises beef. Mike Calicrate, he's going to sing your same song. He is a big proponent of local food production.
As in Calicrate Banders? Different.
Different. Yep, different.
Okay.
Well, at least I assume he's different. Yeah, same last name. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
We'll have to ask him. Many of you know Doug Ferguson, Sell by Marketing, Roger Ingram. He's great. Ken Hamilton, Rich Brazel, Will Winter, Judah Schwartz, Lloyd Nelson, Mary Jo Ehrman, and Josh and Tara Dukart. And then our keynote is actually David Cole. We're blessed to be able to secure a spot for him to speak. He'll be speaking day 2. So this is the 16th and 17th. Week from today. It's going to start 9:00 in the morning. The go ahead, and when you hit the register now, goes to the sign up. There's no charge. This is really for people who are looking at making their ranch or farm regenerative and being profitable, because we believe that they both have to go together. Direct to consumer is an absolute integral part of doing this. And so while we do not have that person directly on this summit this time, we definitely will be fielding some of those answers, and we have had guest speakers in the past. So this has been a great asset, Amy. I think I know there's a lot here that I've been able to take away in our marketing efforts for our company, Ag Steward, and as we scale our direct-to-consumer business, this is great. So,
You're welcome.
Final thought, Amy?
One of the biggest things that I kind of I'm a proponent for is it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to work. So don't worry about having the best of anything. As long as it's working now, then you can kind of iron out the creases as you go. That my website and my platform today is nothing like it was when it started, but it still worked then and it allowed us to grow and scale. So don't worry about being perfect. Just start, and we can always help you get that perfection.
Amen. Yep, you're going to learn so much. You can study it to death, but when you get started, you're going to have a lot better questions to ask. So absolutely start. And so thanks everybody for joining here live. Appreciate those that have stuck with us here, and look for the replay that'll come out. It'll come via text and email as soon as it's made live. So check that out, and definitely sign up for the summit for next week. We'll see you all on the next one. Thanks again for joining.
Bye.